You wake up, 1 second of consciousness passes, then everything goes black for 100 years. You blink, a century has vanished. The world has changed. This is your new existence. 1 single second of life, every single 100 years, time is now a joke. First, a blink reveals a different city skyline, then a shift in the air. The first few centuries are confusing. People you knew are long gone, buildings have crumbled into dust. You are a biological glitch. Your body somehow survives the gaps, but your mind is a strobe light. The gaps grow heavier. Every single heartbeat now takes a century to complete. The world is flickering. History is just a series of still frames. Biological processes stop between blinks. Your cells are effectively frozen. This isn't sleep. It is a total suspension of causality for your consciousness. The external world continues at normal speed. Mountains erode, oceans shift, entire civilizations rise and collapse while you are mid-thought. Because your brain only functions for 1 second, the concept of a conversation is impossible. By the time you finish saying hello, the person you addressed has been dead for 3 generations. Language becomes useless. Memory becomes a fragmented mess of random snapshots. You are witnessing the fast-forward version of reality. To the world, you are a statue that occasionally twitches once every 100 years. It is a very lonely way to exist. Then the biological luck runs out. Your clothes rot away in the first millennium. The house you woke up in is now a forest, then a parking lot, then a crater. Nature does not care about your intermittent consciousness. You are now a naked statue. The timeline accelerates into the deep future. The sun begins its slow transition. Continents drift into new configurations. Pangea Proxima forms. You blink and the Atlantic Ocean is gone. The climate shifts violently. Glaciers carve the earth into unrecognizable shapes. Because your awareness is so sparse, you perceive the movement of the stars as a frantic dance. Constellations warp and distort. The night sky becomes a blur of streaking white lines. You are no longer observing a world. You are observing a time-lapse of a dying planet. The atmosphere thins. Oxygen levels drop. The biosphere collapses. Every single waking second reveals a more desolate wasteland. Forests vanish. Animals disappear. The silence between your breaths lasts for 10,000 years. Your mind attempts to process the scale, but the data arrives in fragments. You are a witness to the end of all things. Eventually, the solar system enters its final act. The sun expands into a red giant. The Earth is slowly engulfed by the outer layers of its own star. Heat becomes the dominant force. The crust melts into a global ocean of magma. You blink. The sky is now a wall of incandescent plasma. The temperature reaches thousands of degrees. Normally, you would vaporize instantly. But your consciousness is the only thing that exists intermittently. The physics of your state are ambiguous. Perhaps your physical form is suspended in the same stasis as your mind. You are a charcoal stickman floating in a sea of liquid rock. The Earth is eventually consumed entirely. You are now drifting in the void of space, a lone consciousness blinking in the dark. The red giant collapses into a white dwarf. The galaxy begins to merge with Andromeda. Stars collide. Massive black holes swallow entire clusters. The universe is stretching. Matter is separating. Everything is getting colder. The great freeze begins. Light is becoming a memory. Trillions of years pass between your blinks. The era of stars ends. The universe enters the degenerate age. White dwarfs cool into black dwarfs. You wake up to absolute darkness. There is no light, no heat, no sound, just the void. You blink again. Proton decay begins. The very atoms that make up your frozen body start to evaporate. One by one, the subatomic particles simply vanish. You are literally dissolving into nothingness over quadrillions of years. The scale of time is now so vast that the entire history of humanity was just a momentary flicker in your first few seconds. You are the last thing in existence. The universe is a cold, thin soup of photons. The distance between particles is now measured in light years. You try to think a single thought, but the physical hardware of your brain is now just a few scattered electrons drifting in a vacuum. The entropy of the universe is reaching its maximum. The heat death is complete. There is no difference between the past and the future. Everything is perfectly, eternally still. You are the only observer left in a dead cosmos. The final second arrives. You blink one last time, the universe is gone, there is only the void. Then a sudden blinding flash, a new Big Bang occurs, a new universe explodes into being. Space and time are reborn, you are suddenly back in a room, you are wearing a suit, a man is standing in front of you with a clipboard, he looks annoyed. He tells you that you are very late for your appointment. This is an infinite cycle. The man explains that your consciousness was on a mandatory government sabbatical. Unfortunately, because you were absent for several trillion years, you have missed the deadline for your tax filings. The penalty is substantial. The Galactic Revenue Service does not accept the heat-death excuse. Existence is a bureaucratic nightmare. Your taxes are still due. Subscribe to the What If Club to find other ways to avoid your responsibilities. We will see you in another century.